2008 as a student here. And it's really, really crazy to now be here introducing other students who are going through that same journey. But really quickly, before we get into that, let me just quickly introduce the International Game Developers Association and who we are and what we do. So my name, as stated, is Adrian Sandoval. I am the chair of the Philadelphia chapter of the International Game Developers Association, which is a global organization nationally based that has chapters all around the world advocating for issues surrounding game development and helping out with professional careers, students, hobbyists, indies. We kind of do it all, which is great. I specifically focus on our local community here in the South Jersey, Philadelphia region. And we do these meetings. We actually do meetings around the same time, second Tuesday of every week, typically around 7 p.m., where we host professional game developers, give them a platform to talk about different issues. Sometimes we do hangouts on our local Discord channel and such. As far as the international, as far as the professional chapter goes, if you would like more information about them and how to become a member, that is www.igda.org. It's a dues-paying membership, but for $60 a month, you get a whole bunch of really great benefits, including access to the national Discord, which gets you access to over 1,500 game developers, which is perfect for networking. I highly recommend that benefit. As for, again, our local chapters, we do these every month, which we do for our entire community. We also have our own Discord. If you'd like to sign up for that, you can send an email over to igdaphilly@gmail.com. Sign up for our Discord, which we give as a public service to the entire Philadelphia game development community. If you'd like just send over an email, we'll get you that. Finally, just as a quick reminder too, IGDA does have a code of conduct, which you can check out at our website, igda.org/Philly, which is essentially where we tell people we try to have a respectful, safe space for every single one of our developers, whether it's an in-person meeting like this one here, or if we are in our digital spaces on Discord, whether that's meeting digitally or just in the regular day-to-day communication on that Discord. So please keep that in mind and be sure to check out the full code of conduct again at the website, igda.org/Philly. If you are interested in any of these things I told you about and would like more information, we are on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter. Again, we have our Discord page where we do announcements telling what our next events are going to be, who our guest speakers are going to be. We have a plan for January to host our annual town hall, where I'll talk about all of the things that we accomplished over the year and talk about some of the cool things that we have coming up in the pipeline. So if that sounds good, that's going to be our next month meeting in January. All right, that's about all I've got. Once again, I just want to congratulate the people here, all the students and everything, for all the amazing work that they have done. Again, having done this myself and now been a professional developer for well over a decade, shipping over 10 games, teaching at both Drexel University and University of the Arts. You know, again, this is a big journey, but beginning of a journey. It feels like the end of something, but again, you're starting to move into bigger, greener pastures, and it's always a weird, exciting place. And this is really just a start. And I'm so happy and excited to actually get to be up here and introduce all of these fine folks doing exactly the same thing that I did so many years ago. Again, really cannot be overstated that shipping a game is a small miracle. So you should all be you should just be so proud of what you were able to accomplish and what you're going to be showing here today. So just one more time, we get a big round of applause for everyone here. Thank you again so much. I look forward to seeing the games.
Thanks. Thank you, Adrian. All right, so this is a super fun one, not that everyone isn't, but what's really cool about this is we're going to be showing 2 complete games tonight, and technically we're going to be showing 3.5 games, because there's going to be an analog game with the expansion, the fully realized version, and all that stuff, so it's really cool. So the first project you're going to see tonight is a 15-week project, which is amazing. This very small team, by the way, of 5 students, which has been really cool. I got super nervous midway through the semester because I was like, oh, what's going on? Are you guys okay? They're awesome. They did really well. I'm super excited about it. They worked very hard, and I'm super super jazzed about them coming to Game 3 next semester with another small group, which would be a lot of fun. So it's really good. So so you're going to see this 15-week project, which they brought forward in a very creative and fun way. They're going to tell you all about this, and then we're going to take a short break, let you go potty and all the neat stuff. And we have bathrooms everywhere here in this building. I'm just kidding, they're either upstairs or downstairs. But and then we'll come back and we'll see Game 4 present their finalized project. Okay. We'll do questions at the very end about the program from me and all that stuff, and it's really a diversion so they can get set up to sell their stuff. Okay. All right. Very good. So without any further ado, we have Shattered Stone Shores.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CCC's annual game show. My name is Ryan Lynch.
Hi, I'm Alex. Hello, my name is Montour.
Hi, I'm Amelia.
Hello, I'm Deadpool.
And this is our dev team, Shattered Stone Shores. All semester, we've been working on our brand new game Catalyst, and we're very excited to show you all what we've been working on. Let's start off with the story. We decided to keep cast of characters in a dark, twisted world would be a perfect fit for our narrative. Taking things further, we created the land of the animal kingdom. An island nation filled with jungles, mountains, and savannas. Lush and bountiful, these lands were proud. Keyword, were. That was until the sludge appeared. Seemingly benign, it spread far and wide, infecting all that it touched. The first to go were the 30 rulers of the lands. Each one was responsible for its own section of the kingdom. Starting with the overgrown jungle, all walks of life spawn here. Food for the whole kingdom is grown here, and chances are, if you're a cat in these lands, you were born in the jungle. Past the canopies, we have the isolated peaks. Cold and desolate, these mountains bring scholars and monks together. The cold lands are hard for cats to live in, but for any cat who dares to live through the cold, they find enlightenment. The first church of the lands were spawned here, and it serves as a natural barrier for the last area of the deserts of Camden. Once a savannah filled with royal families, the watering hole has now dried up, and the king has lost his way. Anarchy has ensued, merchant versus merchant, brother versus brother, can't look there. Oh. The game starts with our protagonist, Arthur, on his last breaths. A lone monk from the mountains finds him alone on the floor, saving him and sending him on his journey, an adventurous quest that not many know about. We as a team decided that we wanted to use dark fantasy as inspiration. Dark fantasy to us is a world just past its golden age, on the brink of extinction. When players play our game and fight the bosses, we want them to wonder what they could have been. We want to show you what the crumbling walls are all about. Like any dark story, there needs to be a light, even if it's a dim one. Ours is the Church of Remediate. An organization spawned in the mountains, filled with monks and scholars. When the plague came, the monks left in droves, trying to help the other cats. Let's start going over bosses. Our first boss is Tigurius, ruler of the jungle, keeper of the mountains. You could tell Cat's intentions just with his eyes. He was well liked and he was well respected. When the plague came, he lost his most precious gift, his eyes. Not knowing what to do anymore, he lashes out in hallucination and rages of hallucination, sweeping the ground in front of him. Next comes Tigurius. Sorry, next comes Claudius. Claudius the Thinker, a strange cat preferring to be alone, reading text from a very young age. His intellect impressed the king even when he was a small cat, finding him a role in the court. Leaving the court, going back to the mountains, his knowledge attracted others, until one day the mountains were filled with all types of manner of cat looking to scholar, looking to find information. His intelligence was his downfall, though, for when the plague hit, he spawned his second head, reaching on his mind, reaching on his ideas. Finally, we have King Decanus. Well respected, like any good king, he took care of his people. That was until the infection. His body a husk of what it used to be, his mind shattered. The kingdom fell into anarchy, with no one to protect them, and no one to lead them. We as a team outsourced all of our music and sound effects. And here is an example of the first level's music. Kind of calming. Yeah. Next, Yana is going to come up and talk about some of the character design.
Thank you, Ryan. For character design, we will start with Arthur, who is our main character of Catalyst, and is who the player will embody for this quest. Starting off as an ordinary cat, Arthur lived a normal life until the plague hit him and his family. Everyone around him was affected by the disease, and Arthur himself was barely surviving until he was saved by the last monk. Upon healing him, the last monk requests Arthur to save the animal kingdom. Our goal was to create the embodiment of a feline warrior who wants to protect his homeland. He has a fuzzy and adorable appearance, but yet a fierce and enchanting presence that communicates just what kind of protagonist he is. With scars on his body and face, Arthur tells a tragic story that shows what he has had to endure. On his left peripheral, he wears an eye patch due to the rot infecting his eye, leaving him with only one line of sight. He wears a dark green hood with a brown traveler's pouch. His fur pattern consists of a white and grayish color spotted in the middle of his head and at the tips of his ears and tail. On the right, we have the last monk, who is the first NPC that Arthur runs into. Being one of the only friendly encounters, the last monk gives Arthur Excalibur, which is his sword and main weapon to use in-game, and the Holy Pendant, which is an item used to cure the plague. We wanted to design this character off of an elderly monk that also happens to be a cat. Through years of aging, his face has shrunk, his fur has gotten thicker, he has bushy eyebrows that cover his eyes and an exaggerated mustache. He wears a religious and oversized robe to hide his fragile arms, which shows his shaggy tail. Excalibur is the main weapon to be used throughout the game and is given to Arthur in order for him to save the animal kingdom. At the start of the game, Arthur is in a weakened state due to the plague, but before anything could get worse, the last monk appears and strikes Arthur with Excalibur. Instead of damaging him, it instead cured the deadly disease. This was due to the holy pendant attached to the sword. Upon saving him, the last monk gives Arthur Excalibur and asks him to rid the animal kingdom of the plague and save their lands. And now Ryan will talk about enemy design.
Starting from the top, we have King Decadus, a shadowy figure held together by a rope and string, his sword a family heirloom. The enemies surrounding him are the first to be infected and the farthest gone. To the left is Claudius, standing taller than the rest. The second head grows on the nape of his neck, and the enemies in that area also have his thick fur and spots. Lastly, on the right is King Tigerius. Forced on all fours, the tiger sleeps slowly in front of him. All of the enemies in that area also have his stripes and lack of eyesight. Yana is going to come up and talk about gameplay now.
Arthur, our feline hero, ventures on a 2D platforming quest to cure the lands of corruption and rot as he takes on 3 infected rulers. Gameplay consists of dynamic backgrounds, levels, and challenging battles with the infected kings. Enjoy a cute cast of aggressive yet fuzzy animals that have a twisted and adorable tail. On this intriguing quest, you can also seek out more of the story by exploring and discovering hidden secrets that might just reveal to you how to cure the animal kingdom. Starting with the first set of mechanics, we have enemies. They have simple patterns and roam around until you either pass or encounter them. Attacking. Arthur can swing his sword to damage the foes beforehand. And then walking and jumping. Players can either run or walk side to side, and they can also jump over platforms, obstacles, and enemies. For the second set of mechanics, we have speech. Players can speak with NPCs throughout their journey and on different levels. Curing. To be able to cure animals of infection, Arthur needs to use the holy pendant on his sword. This will trigger either dialogue or a power-up. NPCs. NPCs are spotted throughout the 3 levels, and it's up to the player to find out if they're a friend or a foe. Wall jumping. Arthur digs his claws into the walls, which allows players to jump even higher than they could before. And then health and death. In the top left of the game, it will show a health bar. If it is completely depleted, the player will die, and must restart the level. Gameplay screenshots. We have the HUD, which is the heads up display. That will show an example of how the levels will look and what the health bar will look like. In the first level, Archer is seen fighting the more common enemies around the levels that players will encounter first. And then we have concept art for a cutscene that would happen in the beginning of the game. And then lastly, we have the main menu, which has start game, options, and quick game. Start game will allow you to load up the game. Options allows you to look deeper into the accessibility that we have to offer. And then quick game allows you to save and exit out of the program. And now Brian will talk about level design.
Starting at the top left, we have level 1, the jungle. The player will start at the top half of the screen, working their way down and to the right, with the boss fight at the bottom right. The right at level 2, mountains. A lot of verticality on this level. The player will start high and have to end high, with the boss fight being at the top right. And finally, our final level, simple in layout but filled with enemies. The end is a staircase ascending to the final boss fight. We have a little video demo of our game today. Does the audience have any questions?
As a team just starting out your game development journey, what has been your favorite aspect of doing so?
The creative process is pretty fun to be able to figure out something collaboratively all agree on, and then being able to build upon that, see a final product is pretty.
Most difficult challenge. Great.
I'm gonna go off on a limb here and say the programming from Jagger, because he did it so well. So.
Yeah, the first day of class was super fun, right? So like we're sitting there and I'm like, cool, who wants to program? No one. I was like, oh. I'm like, okay, you're all programming. And they were like, no. And I was like, one of you have to figure it out. Jagger was like, I'll do it.
So, any other questions?
I guess in that case, I have a question for Jack. Well, how was it?
Interesting. I learned a lot by just researching other people doing really similar games, and I still have a lot to learn, but I feel like I learned enough that I'll definitely be able to do better with whatever I end up doing next. Just with some basic tutorials in Game Design 1. On a similar note, what engine did you use for the game? GameMaker? GameMaker?
Yes, there was like a Dark Souls influence, right? Go into that a little bit more.
The idea from the story behind the game is that this used to be somewhere wonderful, and all the cats kind of lived in harmony. Now it's not that. There's not many things to tell you about that. Everything around you is kind of gone and decaying, and that's kind of the vibe we were going for. We will be selling our game on flash drives. of $15, and we'll be selling pin sets for group 5. Thank you all very much.
So we're going to do a quick intermission so game 4 can set up and do their thing. Game 2 is going to go walk out in the hallway to draw you out there, or you can hang out where you are. It's good either way. So 5-10, probably 5, maybe 10. We'll be right back. All right? Cool. As I said, Ryan Morrison, welcome back. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited for this. I get excited all day. I can't sleep the night before. It's so much fun. Sometimes it's anxiety because I don't know what they're going to do. And you got somebody like Devin who might be like, ah! You know, so he's the crazy one. He's the lemon head guy. So just for clarity. So, you know how in every crew, there's a wild card, like the guy who would jump out of a moving van. Yeah. So that's about right. But I'm super proud of this group. I'm super excited. It feels like I've been working with you guys for a long time. So, you know, my post-COVID buddies, and they are more of a crew, like they're a team, like they definitely are. They squabble, they argue, they fight, they knock over liquor stores, they do all the fun stuff together. It's good. No, I'm just kidding about the liquor stores, but I mean, I think I do. But it's really good. So their leadership has been amazing. Their unity has been amazing. It's been a lot of fun to watch them grow into less goobery people. So less, you know, so let's keep it real. But so it's my profound pleasure to introduce Classics and their project lead, Josh Keller. So Josh, take it away.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for coming out today. I'm watching your presentation. My name is Joshua, and I am the project lead. I'm going to introduce my team here, Classics. So my team here, we have Devin, Faraz, Nick, Ray, and Alex. First, I want to discuss the Omega team and what they're responsible for. So that includes documentation, merchandising, marketing, finances, and sound design. So this team is myself, Ray, Alex, and Devin. Moving on to the art team, we're responsible for creating our character sprites, any animations, and backgrounds for the game. Now, this team is comprised of Nick, Devin, myself, Alex, and Ray. Next, the programming team. What do? They are responsible for coding and programming all the assets into the game. Ross really took the lead for this team, but Alex and Nick did help with, Alex and Nick did help with putting in the assets and music and sound effects. Software we used is GameMaker Studio 2. We also use JavaScript, C++, and C# runtime system. And this is an example of what our code looks like. On to assets. Assets are the digital components used in the game engine environment. That includes 3 things: the level maps, the character sprites, and custom. This is the level 1 map made by Devin. Now the sounds in the game, the level music, boss level music, as well as the sound effects for movement and character actions that could be like for shooting, walking, deaths, they all have different sounds. Alex made the sounds. And this is a list of the different sound effects. Now I want to bring up Devin to explain what working Mystic Mayhem.
I think my voice is loud enough. Can you guys hear me back there? All right, thank you. I'm here to talk about Mystic Mayhem. It is a fantasy-themed battle royale card game where your only objective is to be the last one alive through any means necessary. The development process originated from Alex. We then took the idea of what we thought was going to be a different game and made it bigger into Mystic Mayhem. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh. After a short hiatus, we came back after creating Mystic Mayhem to create more off that an expansion, if you may. I will get into that further this time. But as of right now, Mystic Mayhem is a 3 to 6 player free-for-all card game where theft and magic are allowed, and you have to do that. Do anything you need to do to be the last one standing. Alliances and betrayal will happen. It is a party game, so bring it to your parties, or if you're a family-friendly guy or gal and want to have a good night with your family, this is the game. Here are some of the basic artworks for the standard cards. Big Bomb, Reverse, Thievery, and Heal All, each with a color-coordinated end-owned symbol in the bottom right of the card. Moving on to the expansion pack, the expansion adds 15 more cards to the game, a whole new type of card called the Curse card, which changes the whole dynamic to the game. And this is all included in the basic purchase of Mystic Mayhem. Here are some of the artworks that we have for the new expansion cards. Pretty nice. I like them. And if you notice in the bottom right of the Curse card, there is a skull. That's it for Mystic Mayhem. I'm going to hand it over for Ross to further dive into what Hellbound is.
Thanks, Devin. So I'm going to talk about the concept of our game. Basically, our game, it's a PC game, 2D top-down shooter. The style of the game is adventure, action type of game. And in this game, my teammate Alex and Nick helped me out to come up with the asset and helped me out with the coding as well. The aspect of the game, it's a multi-level game, consisting of 5 levels. As the player exceeds in each one, the difficulty goes up, and each level has a boss to beat. So it gets exciting. The first 2 levels of the game is just for the player to understand how it works. We have a trailer for the game. Right. They exit it out. There we go. Alrighty, next is we're going to talk about levels environment. So on the left side of the screen is the concept art was done by Alex, and the right side is the actual how the map look in the level, and it's done by Devin.
So the basic art for concept for our first level is basically a village. A little bit stretch. It's not a difficult level, just easy to go through to understand the mechanics of the game. Not a little bit basic artwork, just for the player get understand the game a little bit more. Level 2 is a little bit different, more forest vibe, a little bit more waves and more time to spend throughout the game. Level 3, that's when it kicks up a notch. The map gets a lot bigger. You got more enemies to kill. There's a little bit of maze in the middle to figure your way out to the game to beat the boss. In level 4, it's a little bit simpler, but you have a lot more enemies to kill. So the game always balanced, never get bored. Right. And I'm going to introduce Nick to talk about characters of the game.
Definitely gonna need that. My voice does not carry. Where's the? All right, how's it going, everyone? I'm Nick. I'm the art dude for the team. Art dude for the team. I'm responsible for making everything you're about to see, starting with the cover of the game. Features the queen who you just saw in the trailer, holding our protagonist Victoria, looking over her, sending some waves of enemies at her. And there she is again. She's the protector from her village, wields a bow, that's her thing. And here we got 3 supporting characters. We got Ernest, Gabriel, and Cassius from the game. They pop up in the cutscenes based on the story that Josh made for us. The game follows a pretty nice narrative. All 3 of them are not playable characters, but they're pretty big in the cutscenes. And here's 6 of the enemies from the first 2 levels that you just saw. Each has their own sound effects, unique attacks, death sprite, or animations, and everything like that. And here's some of the bosses you just witnessed. The first one's got Fire Breath, a close range attack. You have a Alpha Wolf Werewolf. He's really fast, don't let him catch up to you. You got the Ghost General. He has a cannon and a sword. You got a Vampire Lord who shoots beams at you and tries to bite you. You have a Flying Demon Lord who don't let him catch you either. And then you have the final boss, the Queen herself. I wish you the best of luck taking her down. So. And here's just a small selection of some of the cutscenes I designed based on Josh's story. Features a few of the characters. You got the Queen, you got Ernest, Cassius, a little whacked out king down there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So back to Ray for the Q&A. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Reynaldo. I'm part of the Omega team of this group, and I'm going to be giving us the Q&A session. If there's any questions you guys have at all about us as a team, about game development in general, we would love to answer them. Hey, no questions. No problem. Oh, so okay. So I'll have Ross go over about that.
We use the C#, C++, they're built in the game maker. So you have to understand how they work to program the game.
So if I'm not mistaken, this was a one-year project. How did it feel to do from beginning to build to the end? How was that experience for you guys with the team?
I would say it's a lot easier in the sense that it's more time to like fully develop a project, but it's at the same time a little more difficult because you're trying to make it more complex. Whereas, we start the project in game 3 and then finish off right here in game 4. Whereas these guys, they only have a semester in game 2 to finish it. So while there's some better opportunities to make the game more complex, it's like how complex do you want to get and how much more do you want to create in this game than you did in your previous. As you're also advancing, is a lot better because you're getting more familiar with your team. You're getting more familiar with your roles and what you have to do in this game in your role in a game development team and what you want to contribute and stuff like that. And I think a lot of times it was just a really cool experience just to go through it all in a year. Whereas again, before that you were having the game 2, which is only 15-week project. I'm excited for what you guys come up with next semester. Any other questions?
Which was more challenging, the card game or the video game?
The video game. Just because the card game, we try and like a card game. It's not to say that a card game is simple to make. There's definitely a lot more play testing involved because you got to feel out, what a card game is like fun and like what can upset a player when you're going through like a physical game like that. But the digital game just adds so much more in the sense that you have to create digital assets. You have to program the game, and you also have bugs that will come up from time to time as you're developing that will, harm your development. You're just gonna have to fix that, and it's a lot more time consuming and it's a lot more complex. But they're both equally fun to go through. Any other questions? Oh, there you go. There, can I help you?
What was your favorite or most notable bug that came out during development?
Okay, so you want to go for us, or you say you want to go?
You talking about bugs in the game?
Yeah, he said what was the favorite bug?
We had an issue where the enemies were chasing the player in the corner, and because the way the engine works, it favors the back for the enemies over the hitbox. So because we fixed this, but sometimes before when the bug is happening, with the enemy gets shoot out of the game. But you can't go to the next section of the game, but you have to kill all the enemies. So basically, you have to figure out a fix for that bug.
Yeah, we just like shoot out of the screen. I was like, where are we going? Oh my god. Any other questions? Yes, you sir in the back. Yep.
I noticed you all had your hands in multiple like groups, like okay, there was also art. How difficult was that? Trying to divvy out the task between two different projects.
So it's a lot of times we just have to divide up the team, which we're a very small team, and it's just how it goes, just the timing of when we went into the program. These guys will join another team and have a larger group, so that can be a lot more easier. But it's just really we have to be on multiple teams to develop 2 different projects, and a lot of times multiple roles get taken up. And when it comes to the analog game versus the digital game, there are times in development where we would have to divvy up the group, and the people who were more focused on programming and digital assets, like they would be staying on the digital game, and then the analog, we would go through like Adobe programs and make up the artwork, and then we would also play test the game as well to figure out what kinks we would have to air out in the process like that. It's a lot easier when it's a bigger group. Unfortunately, we're a very small group in comparison. So it's just, in half. So 3 people working on 1, 3 people working on 2. Thankfully, we've gone through it and have made out some great products. And I believe you missed in the back, you had a question?
There was an advice review.
Communication is key, especially in whether you're working with a smaller group or a bigger group. It is always important to communicate with your teammates, especially because you need to be with them, talking with them at every step of this game, because it's not going to come out. You're not going to be able to release your product by your at your specified timeline if you're not talking with each other. Yeah, it's just one of those things where this takes this takes their whole team to make, and you just need to always be communicating, always be talking with each other, so you're all on the same page and you all know where you're going with development. Any other questions? All right. And now I'm going to transition into the merchandise section where I can show you some of the merchandise we have available for today. So we have the Mystic Mayhem base game. That is the original first print version of our game. It's not the expansion, but it's a simpler game if you want to just go head to head with your friends and family. That is at a cost of $10, and we bring those up for sale. We also have the Mystic Mayhem Deluxe Edition. That is the one with the expansion. We have a quantity of 17 and a cost of 15 for that. That of course comes with the 15 additional expansion card pack and a revised bookmark rule sheet that includes the new rules for the cards, and of course the original materials from the OG game brought over to this copy, being the health tokens and the main deck and the bags to carry it all in. We also have the digital game and a lovely USB drive with the cover art on it that is at a cost of $15. We also have posters based on our game Hellbound. Those are at a cost of $5, and we have 10 of those for sale today. We also have buttons based on our games. We have button A, which is the main protagonist of Hellbound, Victoria. Button B is the main antagonist of Hellbound, the Queen of Hell. We also have button C, which is the symbol / logo for our card game, Mystic Mayhem. And last but certainly not least, we have button D, which is the original character of our developer, Devin, over here. We also have Cumulocrown merchandise. Cumulocrown was the game we created in our Game 2 phase, and it is also a 2D platformer kind of game. So we have the standard edition at $5. That is just comes with the game and the USB. We also have the Cumulocrown Deluxe Edition that comes with a limited edition perler bead art, a limited edition button, and a sticker and tattoo, as well as the game. And we have that at $10. We also have buttons based on our Cumulocrown game. That is, of course, the mascot over there, the big old Cloud Clyde. We have the protagonist of the game, Hellion, right on our mascot flag. And we also have the main antagonist of the game, King Cumulonimbus. Now I'm going to close it up with Josh so we can end this off and we can get to going. Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you, Brad. Just want to thank you all for coming out today and listening to our presentation. Now we're going to go and set up our merchandise booth. If anybody needs to use the restroom, there are some on the first floor downstairs. And thank you again for coming.